Last night, while gazing at the night sky, I asked perhaps the most important question of all. How much longer can humanity survive? My conclusion was rather grim. No matter how optimistically I think about it, it seems that humanity doesn't have much time left. If we imagine the beginning of life on Earth as midnight, and the present as the end of the day, Homo sapiens only appeared at 11:45 p.m. In the 24-hour history of life on Earth, we've only been here for 15 minutes. Yet, our remaining time seems to be far shorter, maybe not even 5 seconds. In the movie Downsizing, there's a line that goes, "Not a very successful species, these Homo sapiens, even with such great intelligence. Barely 200,000 years. The alligator has survived 200 million years with a brain the size of a walnut. People have been predicting the end of the world for thousands of years. And now it's really happening." In the film, humanity's downfall is attributed to abnormal weather and methane emissions from Antarctica. When the movie was released, it was dismissed as a wild imagination. But now, only 5 years later, I find myself agreeing with it. Before we shrink in size, humanity might very well face extinction. So, why do I think this way? Let's look at objective data and the history of human development. Many of you watching this video likely felt it firsthand in 2024. If you lived in Europe, you might have experienced unusually warm seas. In 2024, sea temperatures in Europe were a staggering 5.5 degrees higher than the observed average. And this year, the heat is even more overwhelming. Coastal cities are no longer cooler than inland ones, as was once believed. In June alone, a marine heatwave occurred off the west coast of Ireland and the Atlantic around the UK, followed by another in 15 regions of the Mediterranean during July and August. Given the Mediterranean's limited water flow compared to its vast area, it could soon become more like a lake. This isn't a joke. It's a serious possibility. Some of you might even know someone who has died or suffered a severe heat stroke this summer. As early as June, numerous cities saw temperatures above 40 degrees Celsius, with some nearing 50. Last year, 70,000 people died in Europe due to heat, over 30% more than 20 years ago. While the population is shrinking, the number of deaths from heat continues to rise. Preliminary estimates suggest up to 100,000 people may have died this year. Looking southwards to Africa, Egypt's temperatures exceeded 50 degrees Celsius, while some parts of West Africa briefly surpassed 60 degrees. Yes, you can cook food under the sun at those temperatures. Some might dismiss this, thinking Africa was always hot, but the situation is dire because they don't have air conditioning. Those in wealthier countries could escape the heat with air conditioning, but in Africa, even a fan is a luxury. The number of heat-related deaths in Africa likely goes unreported because it's hard to identify if death was due to heat, malaria, or malnutrition. India's situation is equally alarming. Despite being the world's 5th largest economy with numerous billionaires, many in India still lack access to clean drinking water and basic sanitation. With 80% of the country still without proper toilets, exposure to extreme heat can be catastrophic. High population density and poor hygiene create fertile ground for disease outbreaks, exacerbated by a lack of clean water. Already, India has reported over 160 heat-related deaths as temperatures hit 50 degrees Celsius. In New Delhi, residents suffer burns from hot tap water, even when set to cold. One day, temperatures reached 52.9 degrees, causing the sensors to malfunction. A sad event, not a humorous one. Imagine collapsing from heat with no clean water to drink. Even if the water is a disease risk, avoiding it is a luxury few can afford. Turning to East Asia, the region's average temperatures have reached record highs. The notable issue here is the seasons. Northern China, South Korea, and Japan used to be known for their distinct 4 seasons, but not anymore. Summer arrived as early as April this year, and temperatures reached 32 degrees Celsius during the Mid-Autumn Harvest Festival in September. Now they face 6 months of summer, 3 months of winter, and brief springs and autumns. Rain patterns have also changed, with sudden, tropical-like downpours replacing the traditional, prolonged monsoons. Crossing the Pacific to the Americas, a BBC News article from July 7th reported, "The record-breaking heat wave that caused large wildfires in the western US is expected to continue into the second week of July. As of July 6th, about 130 million people were under heat warnings or advisories. A child died from the heat in Arizona, where 57 million people received extreme heat alerts. Over 100 million people receiving heat warnings is shocking, isn't it?" California's Death Valley recorded 53 degrees Celsius. By July 28th, more than 170 million people were under heat alerts. A 4-year-old died while on a lake trip. Heat has become a theme in the US stock market, and specialized heatwave monitoring websites have emerged. Simultaneously, North America has faced historic wildfires. Brazil and other South American countries are also grappling with massive fires. The world's largest tropical wetland, Pantanal, spanning Brazil, Bolivia, and Paraguay, has been severely affected. The fire has destroyed 8,000 square kilometers of this wetland, an area the size of a small country. It's shocking to think that even a wetland can burn. There are countless similar cases, but let's stop here. Listing them all would be endless. We'll discuss wildfires and heavy rains later. Rising temperatures inevitably lead to more fires and floods, and we will explore the future of humanity.
Subscribe it.